Welcome back, everybody, to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I have the great pleasure to be joined by my good friend, Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com, and in this video, we are going to give the latest update on Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. So the Chiefs did just get some good news about Rashee Rice's health status. According to Andy Reid, he is going to be fully healthy and ready to go in training camp. But we also did just get another update, and on this side, it's about the legal stuff. Now, as you guys all recall, Rashee Rice got into that Dallas street racing incident in 2024, and we've been kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with that. And we just got an article from Pro Football Talk, and of course, Chiefs fan favorite Mike Florio, who actually wrote that Rashee Rice won't be suspended until criminal case ends. And I did a little bit of research, and as of right now, there isn't a court date for the criminal case, but there is a civil trial date, which is scheduled for June 23rd, 2025. And the NFL is not going to suspend Rashee Rice based on the civil trial. So I think until we find out anything about the criminal trial, Rashee Rice might avoid suspension entirely in 2025. And so, Josh, I want to get your thoughts on that because this is a pretty big development.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all pretty much knew that he wasn't going to be suspended until, whatever the dispute is gets resolved, and that's usually how it goes. It reminds me a lot of the Alvin Kamara incident a few years ago where he had committed, some assault on someone, and he played an entire season before he ended up facing any sort of punishment. I think it might have even been more than a season, but I think that's probably what will end up happening to Rashee Rice. I think the bigger question is, will he be suspended in 2025? And if he is suspended in 2025, when will that be? Because obviously you don't want that to fall around the time of the postseason when you need him the most.
I mean, that would be very insane for the NFL to let him play an entire regular season, and then once the criminal stuff gets settled, then they suspend him for the postseason. That would be insane, and then there'd probably be a lot of stuff that, behind the scenes, he could definitely appeal that and maybe say that it's not just, but I feel like as of right now, we should kind of expect Rashee Rice to play week one. Like, the hope is that he's going to be, fully healthy, get through training camp, and I think he's going to be in a really good position to lead the Chiefs wide receiver room in 2025. Mm-hmm. And that's assuming that he's not going to get suspended, at least to start the season.
Yeah, and I think that's what we want, assuming that he's healthy and everything like that. You want him to get back out there and kind of find his footing. I would also just hate, though, for Rashee Rice to go out there and be having an incredible season like he was at the beginning of last season, and then all of a sudden be pulled away from that because of this incident.
That would be worst case scenario. And honestly, the NFL, for the most part, I'm trying to think of the last time that they suspended someone like mid-season that's something that happened currently. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. This whole incident that happened in Dallas happened in 2024. And so the fact that we're going to be talking about a suspension basically 2 seasons after it actually happened, it just doesn't really make sense.
Well, we talked about this a while ago, like kind of after it happened last year, like during the season when we were talking about maybe he'll get suspended or not. And I think maybe Rashee Rice's camp is kind of holding out hope a little bit that, like, hey, the longer that we drag this out and, like, the longer ago it happened, like, it's just kind of a forgive and forget sort of thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, Josh, if we're talking about this continually dragging on because there's not a criminal court case right now or a court date set right now, let's just say that they keep pushing it, and then maybe it gets to 2026. And at that point, it's like, are you going to suspend Rashee Rice for an incident that happened over 2 years ago? And, like, the NFL definitely, cares about the conduct and stuff to their, brand, so to speak. But if this happened 2 years ago, I mean, Josh, he maybe gets suspended just based on principle, but it's not going to be very much. I mean, again, the NFL does not care at all about civil court cases. They don't care. Like, there's enough that they have to deal with. And, even though that Rashee Rice does have that court date set for June 23rd, who cares? It's civil. It does not matter in the grand scheme of things whatsoever, and it's not going to impact him on the football field.
Yeah, so you kind of wonder, like, at what point maybe does Rashee Rice say, like, hey, can I just go ahead and serve my suspension now and, like, get it out of the way maybe? I don't know if the NFL would even entertain that, but
no.
It's kind of it's a little bit of a weird situation, because if he's going to get suspended, you just don't want it to be at the worst time. But let's just say it's in the middle of the regular season. That's not the worst thing, because you can survive. Let's just say it's 4 games. You can survive 4 games during the regular season without Rashee Rice. This Chiefs team will find a way to win. It's not a matter of them making the playoffs or not if they don't have him. But you want to have him for the stretch run of the season, obviously. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. If he does serve a suspension, let's just hope it's not at a bad time.
When we're also talking about a guy that is coming off of a knee injury, and this would be the best time for him to build momentum. It would not be good for Rashee Rice after suffering that injury last year and after week 4 missing the entire season, for him to also start his next season coming off of injury on, suspended. Like, that's just not good for him. And I don't think that he is going to be suspended to start the season unless we get a criminal case or a criminal court date. But even then, like, I think, again, as long as they continue to push this can down the road, we are going to avoid seeing, Rashee Rice suspended. But, Josh, I do want to talk more about Rashee Rice and what he might bring to this team in 2025, and we'll do that right after this ad break. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the Rice Real Estate Group, Kansas City's premier partner in real estate. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, you'll receive a tailored experience designed just for you. Specializing in residential, commercial, and investment properties, the dedicated team over at the Rice Real Estate Group helps guide you through every transaction, including navigating those short, complex sales. With a commitment to personal one-on-one service, they will ensure that you are supported every step of the way. You can achieve your goals with expertise, care, and a customized approach that truly makes a difference. Ready to make your next move? The Rice Real Estate Group is here to make it happen. For more information, call 816-819-9333. Huge thanks to the sponsors that support this channel all off-season long. Now, Josh, I want to ask you this. We have been going into this season thinking that Rashee Rice could genuinely be maybe a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. He's a bona fide number 1. He showed that before he got hurt last year. What do you think Rashee Rice might be able to do in another year in this offense?
If he's healthy and if the suspension is not a concern, I don't see why he couldn't have a season like it looked like he was going to have in 2024, especially because, we talked about Travis Kelce over on my channel. I think you're going to want the wide receivers to step up so that he's not bearing so much of the load like he's had to in recent years. Jalen Royals, while we're all excited about him, he's a rookie. He's going to take some time to come along. I think there's probably a pretty good chance that you're not going to have everyone healthy all at once, and that's just going to give Rashee Rice the opportunity to put up those big numbers like he was in 2024. This is a guy that clearly was the number 1 option in the offense before he went down last year. And the yards after the catch ability is special with him. And I just think, like, this offense and being in it for another year, you're just going to see him continue to become that great wide receiver that it looked like he was becoming before the injury last year.
He showcased the talent last year, and it unfortunately ended very quickly, but I think that he could have a truly special 2025. And as of right now, as of June 19th, 2025, there is no criminal court date right now. And the NFL is not going to suspend anybody until the legal proceedings conclude on the criminal side of things. And you guys already knew this, but I think it's probably safe to say that Rashee Rice, barring anything crazy, is going to be able to play week 1. And that is a very good thing for the Kansas City Chiefs. And so, Josh, I think that's all the time we have in this video. My final question for you is, where can the people find your stuff?
You can find me here on YouTube. Show Me Football is the channel name. Check out my work, showmefootball.com. And then you can follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB.
And guys, all that stuff will be linked in the description of this video. Hit that like button, subscribe for more daily Chiefs content. And until next time, guys, thank you for watching. And as always, go Chiefs.